the police so lonely. So hopefully this show, Doomsters, might not make you so lonely. Nice one, Mish. Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a look. Here's I just want to talk about this. Well, actually, how are you coping with the end of the world, my friend?
Look, I would say my concern...
You don't think about it much?
No.
Is that what it is?
No, I do. I do. I would say that...
You're still not taking the hopium, no?
No. Look, when we talk about... I think what probably gives me the darkest moments is not, as we're going to talk about, the acidification of the oceans, the sixth extinction.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's just the level of capability that humans are able to inflict on each other, and witnessing probably the most horrific, egregious crimes against a group of people that I think...
You're talking about genocide?
I'm talking about, what's happening to the Palestinians. I think, that we have been through, 100 days in Rwanda, which had movies made, and we've been through, I think the first time I remember as a little kid watching a war was the first, in 82, I think, the Israel-Lebanon war.
Yep.
And it's sort of all these things, and then we have the Gulf Wars, which are almost like watching a computer game and it's streamed. And then to have this, which is just... That's what I think keeps me up at night and makes me depressed, more so than anything else at the moment.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, it is pretty depressing what's happening over there in the Middle East. I'm just amazed that something like that could happen, and it's streamed 24/7, and yet it doesn't really seem to make a difference.
No, there's still debate.
Yes, there's debate.
That's
the amazing thing. You can actually have two sides to it. Like, there's two sides to the Holocaust. Now, hang on. Yeah, a lot of Jews were killed, but hey, the German people, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just think, that irrespective, and for everything that occurred pre this, there's all those horrific things that occurred when they said, October 7th, but to actually just see what we are willing to allow to happen to families and children is just, it's pretty...
Well, that's right. I mean,
sad,
that's the fallback argument that the Israelis and the Americans use, isn't it? Like, but remember October 7, as if everything started on October 7 instead of 70 years ago, when people were kicked out of their country and they made a brand new country there with brand new people. Yeah.
And I think sometimes you've got to hold a higher moral ground regardless of what's happened and say, well, I don't know, I just think...
Well, I can't see, there's no... I don't talk about it I don't argue with people because what is the point of arguing about genocide with someone who thinks that genocide's all right? It's just, who's got arguments to say that it's not genocide, it's just self-defense, it's just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't.
As a parent, you're a parent, I'm a parent, to actually live in a situation where you have no control over whether your family live, die, eat, whatever, it's pretty, I don't know, makes me completely depressed.
Yes. Yep. And it just shows you how pervasive the whole world order is, like with governments not being, even our government, our Australian government, so piss weak, Yeah, I agree with you.
Sorry to bring the tone down a bit.
No. It is music for the end of the world, and genocide is part of that. And we have spoken about that on this show before, about how much emissions the war effort contributes. I think American military, I think we were saying last week, it was something like, was it the 15th or the 16th biggest emitter of greenhouse gases?
Yeah.
Like, compared to countries. That's just the American Defence Force. I mean, it's huge.
Well, you think they even just when they, not even in just their manoeuvres and things, you've got...
Well, they've got hundreds of bases overseas, some here in Australia. Yes, we could spend many weeks talking about this, but we're not, because we are talking about the planetary boundaries and how the ocean acidification has finally transgressed that. But before we do, I just wanted to, this article from Yale, Climate Connections, nature can keep up with climate change. Because that's what evolution is. Evolution is living organisms adapting to changes in their environment. That's what evolution is. And it's fine if change happens over at a very regulated, slow speed over a long period of time. But unfortunately, this headline says nature can keep up with climate change, but not at this speed. The Earth's systems evolved to handle disturbance, but human-driven climate change is pushing them past the breaking point. And it's written by Jennifer Marlin, who says that the natural world's built for change. Seasons shift, rivers rise and fall. The climate changes, goes warm, cools again. Animals migrate. They adapt, they evolve in response to different things, right? That's how the Earth has always worked. That's the beauty of Mother Nature. But she says the pine forests of the western US offer a perfect example. So for thousands of years, the ponderosa trees of the lodgepole pines evolved with periodic wildfires that swept through. And they weren't disasters because they were essential. The lodgepole pines apparently depend on fire to reproduce, a bit like some of our eucalypts here in Australia. Yep. And their resinous cones only open in intense heat, so releasing the seeds into the ash. And they develop the thick fire-resistant bark to survive the low-intensity ground fires that cleared out the undergrowth. And these frequent cooler burns, she says, created open forests of widely spaced mature trees. Okay? But the problem today isn't change, it's the speed of change. So the changes that used to take centuries are now unfolding in a matter of years. The levels of climate warming carbon dioxide in the atmosphere have risen to well above 400 parts per million in just 200 years. Basically, it's the Industrial Revolution, Mish. That's what did it.
Yeah.
So it's a concentration that's last occurred 400 parts per million about 15 million years ago. It's the last time the atmosphere was that heavy in CO2. But even more concerning, Jennifer writes, is at the rate of change. By burning fossil fuels, we're emitting carbon dioxide in the atmosphere at 30 times faster than at any point in the last 100 million years. So it's not even temperatures rising. The seasons are shifting, the disturbance patterns, wildfires, floods, heat waves, high winds, they're all changing, moving faster than the system is designed to handle them. For example, like the monarch butterflies or hummingbirds or sea turtles or the salmon or the moose, they're caught in a high-speed game of catch-up. For the birds arrive for nesting season, right, only to find that the insects that they depend on have already come and gone because the seasons are changing. Moose in the north are dying from parasite overload because the winters are no longer cold enough to kill off the ticks. The salmon, not only one of the most healthy and delicious fish, but also one of the most culturally and ecologically important in the West, are swimming in rivers that are increasingly too warm to survive. The monarch butterflies, which used to be abundant across North America, are now likely to go extinct in the coming decade due to multiple threats, including hotter and more erratic weather from human-caused climate change. I mean, even the livestock and pollinators, and this is where I was so happy the other day, Mitch, when we were out in the garden doing a bit of manuring, that the bees, we had so many bees buzzing around. Oh, it was great. Because you've heard of the insect apocalypse.
Yeah. I was listening to the ABC the other day, and they're doing this big study on bees to find out which bees are the best for honey, which bees are resistant to this.
All right.
And there might be some. Is it
I don't know much about bees.
No, but there's that virus that starts with B.
Okay. Yes, there is a virus for bees.
Yes, that might be more...
They're very worried about that.
Yeah, Verosa or Verosa.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. But there might be one that is more naturally resistant to it.
Uh-huh.
So, look, as you know, you hold out for any of these little glimmers of hope.
Yes.
But we shall see. But yeah, look...
So, that's the whole thing about evolution and about adapting, is that because everything is happening faster, nature just can't catch up. That is why we are in the sixth mass extinction, my friend. That is why we're all going down the gurgler, you know. And people just don't realise. People know that species are dying. I mean, every day there's a species that's going extinct. But people have forgotten that we're actually part of nature too. We're just an animal. And we are included in that list of species that are going extinct.
Yeah, but I think
that's the trouble. People don't realise that.
Yeah, but I think most of the edible ones will go extinct before us.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what order we're all going extinct in. But one thing I do say, I reckon it'd be better for the planet if we went extinct quicker. That's for sure.
Well, it would recover. It would have a chance of recovering to some degree.
I mean, it will recover after however millions or hundreds of millions of years or whatever. Of course, that's the cycle of the planet, isn't it? It's gone through many mass extinctions. In fact, I think I was reading somewhere in some science magazine that it was like 98% or maybe even 99%. It was some ridiculous amount. So let's say 98% of all living organisms have gone extinct up until now, like through mass extinction and stuff, and they've come back again. You know, because I mean, we're billions of years old, the planet.
Yeah,
and life is billions of years old. But that's pretty amazing to think that most living species which have ever been on this planet have gone extinct.
Yeah. Well, I guess you just look at the dinosaurs and the Ice Age and things like that.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be talking about ocean acidification and the planetary boundaries very soon, Doomsters. But first, I think we should have some messages from our beautiful sponsors, Bendigo Bank, and I'm actually changing.
From Bendigo or
to Bendigo.
Yep.
Because I'm tired of these big arsehole major banks.
Yeah.
They just make massive billion-dollar profits.
Well, I won't say which bank.
I'm not saying which bank.
I'm not
They're
saying.
all
I'm not going to say which bank, but I'm with one of the big ones, and I had an amount in my statement which I didn't know what it was for. I tried to get through on the helplines, and I got this circular thing, round and round.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm lazy, I would have gone and cancelled my account that day.
Well, that's what we are doing right now. We are changing to Bendigo Bank because we have one in town here in Bega.
That's the thing.
It's our local branch, and I want to support local.
Bendigo's good.
Yeah. I always like to support local. So that's what we're doing. We're getting out of one of those major top four banks. It's actually the one that's just been in the news actually recently for some huge illegal thing which no one goes to jail for.
No, but they probably pay him about
they pay them
$15 million.
Yeah. But
and
no
then
one
even
goes
if he
to
does
jail.
a bad job, he gets a lot of money.
You still get a bonus.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bendigo Bank and Club Bega. If you haven't been there, people, excellent food.
Shakespeare asks, what's in a name? Well, in Bendigo Community Bank Pandia and Bega's case, absolutely everything. As their name suggests, they're a community bank, setting them apart from the big city banks because they're owned by the community, run by the community, for the community. So every dollar they make makes it back into the community. Since opening, that totals a whopping $1 million and counting. That's a million good reasons to bank with Bendigo Community Bank Pandia and Bega, and you don't need a 16th century playwright to tell you that.
Bendigo Bank is a proud sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
Have you heard about the family restaurant at Club Bega? They serve classic and modern Australian meals and are open for lunch and dinner every day. You can try the Wednesday night schnitty deal, where for $20, with your schnitty comes a free drink and bonus tickets in the raffle. Oh, and kids eat free on Sunday and Tuesday nights. Please call 6492 1903 to book. And Club Bega sponsor this station as a service to the community.
All right, Doomers, thank you very much, our lovely sponsors, without whom we would not be here. All right, Doomsters, back to the show. And before we get into planetary boundaries, I think we should play another song. And I believe one of your friends, Hemingway, is listening tonight, Mish.
Yeah, so the reach of It's the End of the World has gone all the way up to Francis Forrest of Manly.
Francis Forrest, nice.
And not only the reach has extended there, but also tapping into possible drumming if bad
decision.
Bad decision. Need a drummer in Wanderers because Natty has just made herself available to join in at the Wanderer Festival. And as you know,
Well, does she know her Gimme Gimme songs?
well, you know, she can play pretty much anything. So
Speaking of which, I think I will be playing every week. We play a Gimme Gimme song, and I've got one of their long songs this week. It's 2 minutes 6 seconds. It's a bit of a ballad for them. The times they are a-changing. And I picked this one because I figure, one, I love Dylan, but also a good song for our times because they are changing. It's just that they're changing in a way that we don't really want them to.
yeah, I just watched that Dylan film. What was it called?
Oh, the Dylan biography.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I thought Ed Norton as Pete Seeger was excellent
and
as well.
he did all his own guitar and singing.
Yeah.
He was great.
And whoever played Joan Baez was terrific too. I forget her name.
Yeah.
She was really good. Anyway, here's the Gimmies Doomers with The Times They Are Changing.
Come gather round people wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. Your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. And don't stand in the doorway, don't lock up the hall. For he who gets hurt will be he who has to stall. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls. For the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are a-changing.
Yeah, me first and the Gimme Gimmies. We love them on this show. That was The Times They Are Changing, and they are changing, Doomsters. Not for the good. All right. Let's have a look at ocean acidification. Now, this article that I'm quoting from is from the Oceanographic site, which you can subscribe to. It's like a magazine. It's got an online section as well. Ocean acidification officially breaches planetary boundaries. Now, the planetary boundaries, Mish, there's 9 of them. And they are novel entities, climate change, biosphere integrity, land system change, freshwater change, biogeochemical flows, ocean acidification, atmospheric aerosol loading, and stratospheric ozone depletion. Now, out of those 9, and they're all, this isn't some mumbo jumbo, they're all recognised in the science community. Out of those 9, 7 are way breached the critical, dangerous levels. There's only 2 which are now haven't been breached. Stratospheric ozone depletion and atmospheric aerosol loading. Because we have cut down our aerosols. We've changed, particularly just recently in the last 5 years, shipping fuel so that it doesn't emit as much sulfates, which are an aerosol, Plus, you will remember as a kid,
Like the fridges and the
exactly
chlorofluorocarbons
fridges and spray cans and stuff. And
Yep.
unfortunately, we spoke about this last week, that burning fossil fuels puts out aerosols, but those other ones that we have stopped has kept it down low. But what the scientists have found out is that the aerosol in the atmosphere actually helps prevent warming because it reflects a lot of the solar radiation heat away.
So what we've stopped.
So by taking aerosol out of the atmosphere, we're actually making it hotter quicker because more heat is coming in. It's sort of like a catch-22.
So if you put it back in there, what would be the...
It would stop a lot of the solar radiation coming in. But then, of course, you have... I mean, aerosol was like terrible air pollution. You know, there was lots of diseases from it and blah, blah, blah. So that's... It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are in way, 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 way high level danger levels. Ocean acidification has just crept over the critical barrier now. And of course, as you know, Mish, the ocean is our planet's life support system. So without healthy seas, there is no healthy planet. So it's a bit of a red warning light on the dashboard of Earth's stability. Ignore it and we risk collapsing the very foundation of our living world, says Dr. Sylvia Earle. And she has written this article in Oceanographic magazine, which says, as ocean acidification has been added to the growing list of planetary boundaries now considered to be breached, bringing the running total to 7 out of 9, a new scientific report has declared. With the finger of blame directed firmly at the fossil fuels burning made worse by deforestation and land use change, a new scientific report has published. So for the first time in history, ocean acidification has been added to the list of ailments that our planet is suffering from, as outlined in the 2025 Planetary Health Check. And scientists warn that this is a shift that is degrading the ocean's ability to act as Earth's stabiliser, pushing humanity further beyond the safe zone for civilization. And you may not know this, Mish, but the oceans actually absorb most of the heat from the sun.
Yeah, I was watching, and I know you disagree, but I was watching the ocean, and David Attenborough was talking.
David Attenborough.
He was talking about the actual underwater kelp forest and the way that they actually take out a lot more than the on land mass. That was just interesting.
Right, yeah, it is. And actually...
And the way that they recover when left to...
And the other thing which is really scary is that the phytoplankton, right, which is like I suppose it's the bottom level of the food web, of the Jenga tower, phytoplankton actually create more oxygen than the forests.
Yeah, that was the other depressing thing. Because they just had the super...
Yeah.
The
so
super
when our oceans go, man...
They just were taking it up, and it was all for making things for, like, dog food and...
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Livestock feed. It was very depressing.
Yeah. So there's... Because everything is connected. That's what we say in the show all the time. Everything is connected. You can't look at one thing in isolation because you'll just end up making it worse. Like climate change, like CO2. That's all you hear about, right, in the media. CO2. Oh, what is our net zero by 2030, by 2050, blah, 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 blah. As if that is the be-all and end-all of it all. And that is just one tiny little problem that our predicament is shoving up, you know?
Yep.
Ecological overshoot, man. That's what it is. I mean, it's just a pollution problem, CO2. That's just one tiny little thing, you know? And so what is the solution to CO2 emissions? Green energy, man. We all need more solar. We know we need more electric cars. We need more wind turbines. But how are you going to make them? You need fossil fuels to make them. You need to mine the rare earth minerals to make them, which means more pristine land, because most of the rare earth minerals are in places where it's beautiful forests and, you know. And, so it's a furphy. And so these scientists are saying that it is pushing us further beyond the safe zone for civilization. That is science talk for we're doomed, baby. I mean, come on. David Attenborough, come on out. Just grow some balls like Dave Suzuki and come out and tell us how it is. There is no hope. We need to start mitigating. We need to start... There's lots of things we should be doing. For example, decommissioning the over 400 nuclear reactors around the world. You know, what happens when society collapses? You need a stable society to keep nuclear reactors functioning, right? Well, what happens when society starts crumbling? And then you have like 450 Chernobyls happening around I mean, things like that. We need to start talking about it and planning for it, but no one is, of course. Because it's all about money. The tech bros, it's all about money, and they own everyone. They own the governments, they own the politicians.
It's going to go belly up when you got 8 billion people and
exactly,
and 90% of them don't have enough to eat.
That's
when
right.
it's going to...
That's right. But I mean, it's much better to, as I've said before, to try and... It's a long process getting your head around the end of the world as we know it. And the longer time you have to try and deal with it, to get your head around it, the better you are to deal with it, to come to terms with it. But when it hits you like a shock, when suddenly you go to the shops and there's nothing there, and your power's just gone off for the second week in a row, and there's protests on the street about the government and stuff, then people start panicking, don't they? Then you turn into anarchy, chaos. That's why we have the show, man, to inform people. And, of course...
Well, it's not going to stop the anarchy, though. That's going to be there regardless.
Maybe. Well, but, I mean, if people were a little bit more... understood things and a little bit more rational. But anyway, I think it's time for another song. I'm raving on too much. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're going to be doing... What do we say we're going to do? Talking Heads.
Talking Heads, that's a good one.
Wild Life. And it is going to be a wild life, people. Here's Talking Heads. And this is the 2005 remastered version.
No?
What does that mean?
Well,
what does that mean, remastered?
It's slightly better than the 2004 version.
Is it really?
But it didn't,
or was it just an excuse to sell another album?
It didn't quite meet the heights of 2001.
Here we go. Talking Heads, Wild Life.
I'm wearing the pajamas. Hot potato. It's tickling my fancy. Speak up, I can't hear you. Here on this mountain top, I got some wild life. I got some news to tell about some wild life.
Yes, a wild, wild life, and it's going to get wilder, Doomsters, as we know. You're listening to 93.7 Edge FM, music for the end of the world. And it is now time for a couple of messages from our lovely sponsors, Bega Valley Realty and Clark Business Associates. Advice. Bega Valley Realty, that's who we bought our place through. Rob and Rob.
Yeah, when I'm looking to purchase a property in the Bega Shire, they're my
look
first
at Bega Valley
choice.
Realty.
Yeah.
Rob and Rob. Excellent dudes.
Rob Shadle and Rob Flynn from Bega Valley Realty breathe a breath of fresh air into the real estate market in the Bega Valley, and it shows. With sold signs up all over the valley, give yourself the green tick of approval and get in contact with Bega Valley Realty. Give them a call on 64920 426. That's 64920 426. Bega Valley Realty, proud sponsors of Edge FM.
Clark Business Advisors is a locally owned and operated accounting firm with over 35 years' experience. With an office in Merimbula, they provide a full range of accounting and business advisory services, which include taxation and compliance, business advisory and administration, payroll and bookkeeping, and accounting software solutions. Owned and operated by Stephen R. Clark, a second-generation accountant who has been practicing since 1983, Clark Business Advisors is a trusted name in the local and greater community. You can reach them on 6495 1320. Clark Business Advisors are a long-time sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM, Bega Community Radio.
Yes, thank you very much, our dear sponsors. And maybe, listeners, if you are here in the Bega Valley and you're thinking, maybe I wouldn't mind having a show on the radio. I want to play my my songs. We've lots of spots available for presenters. So go to the site online, 93.7 Edge FM, and send an email, or I think, is there a phone? I'm not sure. Get in touch. And I'm sure you'll be able to have a show. No worries. All right, back to ocean acidification, Mish. The scientists who have written this report, say that the ocean acidification has now gone beyond what is considered safe for marine life and ecosystems. Cold water corals, tropical coral reefs, and Arctic marine life are especially at risk as acidification continues to spread and intensify rapidly. More than 3/4 of the Earth's support systems are not in the safe zone. Humanity is pushing beyond the limits of a safe operating space, increasing the risk of destabilizing the planet, says Johan Ruckström, director of the Potsdam Institute for Climate Change. Climate Impact Research, the research organisation that's behind this report. So the 7 breached boundaries, as I said before, are climate change, biosphere, land system change, fresh water, biogeochemical, novel entities, and ocean acidification. And all of these 7 are showing worsening trends. So since the start of the industrial era, 200 years ago, say, the ocean surface pH has fallen by around 0.1 units, a 30 to 40% increase in acidity.
Question for you.
Yeah.
This is my question.
Okay.
If the 7 things breached, and look,
Well, 7 things are breached.
Yes.
We've still got 2 that haven't.
but I always think,
Yeah.
and we talk about intermittent power supplies, food
Yeah.
production, the wars.
Yep.
Do you think, because I always think maybe it's like Dr. Seuss and the Lorax.
Yeah.
And there's no truffler trees.
No truffler trees.
And that's what I think. As long as the fish are biting out there, that it almost looks like for society to do anything, you almost need to see an absence of marine life before anyone is willing to
Unfortunately,
accept.
I think you're correct.
And that's what's depressing.
Yes.
Because you don't adhere to any of the
No.
the recommendations or the trends that science is telling you until you actually can sit there for a year with a prawn on your hook and never catch a fish.
Yeah. Because when I talk about these things, Mish, and people always go, okay, so when's collapse going to happen? And that's not really the question you should be asking, because collapse is happening now. We're in the middle of collapse. The question you should be asking is, when is collapse going to directly impact you?
Well, that's the thing.
Because we are in the rich Western world. So, you know, we have a lot of money to protect us. We can still buy up lots of food stocks that poor countries can't, that have to starve. We can still do all that, but it will come eventually.
Well, that's the thing. Until it actually, I think, until, you know, you have laws that say you can have one electric vehicle per family, or you can have X amount of this, X amount of that, until it directly impacts people, or, you know, you can only have power on odd nights.
That's right.
Until then, people just keep thinking that everything is normal and everything just goes on.
Well, as long as our leaders don't mention it, as long as they keep going on about economic growth and the GDP, you know. And,
but there's going to be one leader that's in the middle of it, and then suddenly everything just goes black.
Because, well, that's the thing with politicians. If someone came out and, like Dave Suzuki said, look, there's no hope, we have to start bunkering down and mitigating for our descent over the cliff, which means it's not about what type of energy that we're producing, it's the amount of energy we're producing, and everyone has to cut down. You're not going to get elected, because the opposition is going to go full tilt on you saying, well, look at what they did about electric cars and the thing about utes and stuff, like they're taking your utes away, or some bullshit that Morrison or Dutton or some of those idiots were saying. I mean, that's what you're dealing with. And so there's not going to be no politician who comes out who will have the guts to do that, because they won't have a job the next day. But then you've got to say to yourself, well, how do you go home and look at your kids in the eye? Are you doing your best for you? Are you doing the best for me, Dad? You know, I don't. Either they're stupid, they're ignorant. Either they're ignorant, they don't know it and understand it, or they are deliberately not saying anything. And I think it falls more on that side, because surely they have access to the best information.
But could it be a catch-22 that if so, like, to give you an example, someone said to me the difference, and I apologise because this.
Yep.
A Spanish mentality, just say there was like a delicacy crayfish that was going extinct. Some would say the mentality of some people would be like, well, I'm going to eat as many of them as I can before
they all
it
go
goes extinct, rather than I'll try not to eat them to see if they can replenish.
Yeah.
And that's almost like what we live in now. Just be as hedonistic as you can now, because there'll be a moment when...
Well, I think that description fits those billionaires, the tech bros, perfectly. That's what they're doing. I mean, that's, you know, like these billionaires flying around in their private jets, pumping out CO2 from all these things. They know what's going on. They're not stupid. They just don't care. They want to amass as much as they can before it all crumbles. And hopefully they think, oh, maybe my bunker will save me. Unfortunately, what they don't understand is that nothing can live on a 70-degree planet. You know, well, a few microbes and stuff, but not much. Certainly not humans. Certainly not mammals.
And if you don't have, you know, as one of your primary reasons for living to make heartfelt connections with other people,
exactly,
then it really doesn't. Do you want to be like cast away and on your own?
I think that. Well, I think to become a super rich person, to become a billionaire, I think you have to be a sociopath. You can't have any empathy for other people. Because obviously you feel that you deserve it.
Yeah.
I've worked hard. I'm lucky. I've made right decisions, blah, 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 blah. I deserve my $250 billion of wealth. You know? So you can't reason with those sorts of people. All right, Doomsters, time for another song, Mish. And we did Talking Heads. So we've got The Clash and we've got Paul Kelly. And Radiohead.
Oh, Radiohead. That's a goodie.
Is it?
I like it.
Is it? It's from...
Hail to the Thief.
Hail to the Thief, which I've got to say, do you like that album?
Well, look, I saw it in Italy on my 30th, so I have nice connotations.
The album?
Well, I saw their concert.
Yeah, but I mean, they played the Bend, surely.
Yeah, they played heaps.
Yeah, well, of course.
But this
Hail
is,
to
my,
the
this
thief.
is my favourite song from
Okay,
that album.
all right.
But I don't mind, you can choose the other ones.
No. Let's play this one.
Have you done The Clash?
I love Radiohead. No, I haven't done The Clash yet. But let's do Radiohead. So, Where I End and You Begin.
Okay.
All right. Radiohead, peeps.
It's a bit of a change.
Yeah.
There's a gap in between. There's a gap where we meet. Where I am and you begin. I'm sorry for the dinosaurs on the earth. The sky turns green. Where I am and you begin. I'm up in the clouds. I'm up in the clouds, and I can't come down. I can watch you now take part. Where I end and where you start. Where you left me alone. You left me alone. X around the place, like a planet on the waves, like a ice for the
Ah, yes, Radiohead. Not my favourite song of theirs, Mitch, I've got to say, but
Well, different strokes for different folks.
exactly, that's right. You bring in the music tonight. All right, peeps. Oh, my gosh, it's almost the end of the show. But we're still talking about ocean acidification, saying in this scientific report, saying there's 30 to 40% increase in acidity. They also say tiny sea snails known as pteropods are already showing signs of shell damage, and they are an important food source for many species. So their decline affects entire food chains with consequences for fisheries and ultimately for us. And so they keep on going. The movement we're seeing is absolutely heading in the wrong direction. The ocean is becoming more acidic, oxygen levels are dropping, and marine heat waves are increasing. And this is ramping up pressure on a system vital to stabilise conditions on planet Earth, according to Levke Caesar, who is a co-lead of this Planetary Boundaries Science Lab report. This intensifying acidification, they write, stems primarily from fossil fuel emissions, and together with warming and deoxygenation affects everything from coastal fisheries to the open ocean. And the consequences ripple outwards, impacting food security, global climate stability, and human well-being. Duh. They go on to talk about the 9 boundaries that form the Earth's operating system. They're all interconnected life support processes that have to stay within the safe boundaries to keep humanity safe and the natural world resilient. And scientists monitor them all the time through these key measures. A bit like vital signs, when someone in hospital. And the findings point to accelerating deterioration and growing risk of irreversible change, including a higher risk of tipping points.
Well, it seems to be like in both the ocean and on land.
Oh, well, it's both.
It's both. The initial, it's the insects which are dying, or which are the initial building blocks in the food chain.
Exactly. Well, as we've spoken before, it's like a Jenga tower, and you start taking out the bottom ones, the whole tower falls down.
And when you look at obviously the bees and pollination have been a big one, but what they've been talking about, which I said when I listened to the radio, is everyone sort of relates it to, I used to see a lot more Christmas beetles.
Yeah.
And you don't, and look, it's...
Yeah. And boggon moths, they used to be plentiful too, particularly when we were living in Canberra. They used to be all the time. Now there's hardly any.
Yeah, at the Aussie Open.
Yeah. When was the last time you have cleaned your windscreen because you got too many dead insects on it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't clean much my car in general.
No, but you used to have to. I remember as a kid, Dad doing it, remember?
Yeah, when we drove to Swan Hill.
Exactly, because you couldn't see out the window.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Okay, back to this report. They're saying that the ocean is our planet's life support system, and without healthy seas, there is no healthy planet. So for billions of years, the ocean has been the Earth's great stabiliser, generating oxygen, shaping climate, supporting diversity of life. But today, acidification is a flashing red warning light on the dashboard of Earth's stability. Ignore it and we risk collapsing the very foundation of a living world. Protect the ocean and we protect ourselves. I'm not going to go on with the rest of the report. They start getting into a little bit of hopium there about how we can try and fix it. We can't fix it, people. Okay? There is no fixing. For example, their last thing, even if the diagnosis is dire, the window of cure is still open. You're wrong there, Johan. I'm sorry, bro. You got no idea. Failure is not inevitable. Yes, it is. But we can mitigate it and slow it down a little bit. That's the best we can do.
Nice to end with some messages of hope from my brother there.
We can't reverse it. And even if we could, we won't, but we can't. It's all about, just like my friends in Just Collapse, it's all about fighting for socio-eco justice, really. Because, of course, it's the poor people who have contributed the least to our predicament that get hammered the worst first. And so I think a little bit of justice wouldn't go astray. What do you reckon, Mish?
Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Probably not. Although, Who knows? I mean, I never
It's
thought.
nice to think it will, though.
I never thought Trump would get elected. So there you go. And he's been elected twice.
And it's been a hell of a ride.
And I never thought Scott Morrison would get elected, for God's sake. What a doofus. He gets elected, so you know.
Well, I like to look at the appointments that Trump made. You don't need any prior
That's right. Who would have thought a Fox News host to be in charge of the
Department of
military?
War.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you can't tell, so.
Yeah.
Who knows, Doomsters? All right. We have come up to the hour. We will be back next week. And as I always do, I put the show on my YouTube channel. If you just type in Music for the End of the World, all in one big long word in YouTube search, you should be able to find it, as my brother had trouble finding it today. If you didn't listen to it tonight. Okay, and as I always like to finish off with, just as my friends in Just Collapse. Collapse is inevitable, but justice is not. So we've always got something to fight for. Other than that, take care of each other, foster those community relationships. We've got to. That's what I'm doing down here, with the radio show, with the music society, a whole bunch of different things. Community pantry, all sorts of. There's lots of things we can be involved in locally. Other than that, of course, it's good night from me.
Good night from me as well.
Thanks for coming in, Mish. Always a pleasure, and thanks for the songs. And
The Clash, I think, is a good one to finish.
the Clash, we're finishing with the Clash. Rudy Can't Fall.
Fail.
Fail. I need my glasses. So, what's this song about? Where's it from? I've never heard it before.
Look, I'm a big fan of John Cusack and John Cusack films, and
Oh,
this
what
is one of
film?
the song from Grosse Point Blank.
Oh, Grosse Point Blank.
But I'm also a big fan of The Clash.
Cracker. All right. So, we'll see you next week, peoples. Here is the Clash. Rudy Can't Fail.